Clement. Ford Mustang GT4.
Dominant fashion, highly clear.
Yeah. Area 51 podcast. This Cap Houston right here. Bobby, what you got for me?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 105. We've got Brandon, we've got Mike, and we've got Wayne. How you guys doing today?
Great. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Awesome.
We're
Excellent.
finally starting to get warm weather again. I'm kind of over the snow.
I'm
Mike,
in
you got to
Florida.
deal with that.
It's always warm.
So, Mike, welcome back. This is your third time on.
Yep.
And we've got Wayne, first time on. How you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. And hopefully many more.
Yes, sir. You want to tell us about yourself and who you work with?
Wow. How much time do you have? As Mike said earlier before we launched the podcast, I can talk, and but that's my business, right? I'm a friend raiser for the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches. My official title is Director of Development, but I prefer Principal Friend Raiser, and my job is to fund and develop funds for the continued operations of the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches, which is celebrating 68 years this year, soon to be 69 in 2026. I've been here 13 years after a long career with Shriners Hospitals for Children, their worldwide headquarters in Tampa. I actually reside in Pasco County, which is just north of Tampa. But we cover the state of Florida, and every day in every way, we're raising awareness. We're raising gifts, and Merry Christmas, guys, because this is the best time of the year for all causes, but especially our cause. And, we're out every day up through the end of the year, just collecting people's gifts and collecting today holiday gifts for all the children in program and re-gifting things for other like charities that we partner with. So it's a beautiful thing. We hear all the negative stuff on a daily basis. I get to live the positive stuff, and I'm just so humbled to be their representative and to be able to continue their mission.
Mike, I'll let you kind of collab on that.
Yep. No, and I've been associated with Wayne, for a very long time now. We met. There was an incident, talking Shriners and stuff like that. There was an incident back at headquarters years ago that Wayne was looking for somebody to take care of. They got broken into. The place got trashed with some fire extinguishers and stuff like that. And I was able to assist him out with, my standard business on my day-to-day of Service Master. And by doing that, got to know Wayne very well. And as we grew, being friends and, trying to find out how we can help each other grow, each other's fan base and stuff like that out there, Wayne came up with the Youth Ranch of a Race to Give initiative with Youth Ranch. With that Race to Give, that's how we met Becca. And, we went from, meeting Becca, Citrus County up there, and we got called into her hauler when it was raining and had the kids, protected in the rain and stuff there. And then it just continued to grow. It, went from meeting with Becca there to, JD Motorsports with Gary Keller over at the Xfinity, putting the star on the car. And we got to meet over there. And that's how I met my business partner now with Service Master. And then it just continued to grow from there. It just is a snowball, and it's amazing, the community that's out there that, does good like the Youth Ranch and gives back. And we want to continue to support them. And I brought that over to CGM as we can, I gained up with City Garage Motorsports. Becca's obviously with City Garage Motorsports as well. And we just continue to support the youth ranch and, try to find ways to support each other. And I collaborate with Wayne, all the time type thing. If, there's something I'm coming up with, whether it be a contract, whether it be a paragraph, whether it be just trying to get my head clear type thing, I'll reach out to Wayne and say, hey, what do you think about this? How can we turn this into a positive? How can, I help you? How can you help me? What can we do to further grow the relationship with the, youth ranch? We're looking at, a bright 2026. We was hoping to do it 2025 here with the girls, but we're definitely going to do it 2026 where we take the girls up to the youth ranch and let, the ranchers see, what can come positive out of racing and meet the girls, meet the drivers, see the cars, show the girls up there that, it's not just a guy's sport. The girls can get involved in all of this as well. Me and Wayne have talked through the years of opportunities. We've actually had some of the kids and people over at the youth ranch come out to the race shop and help us work on the cars over there. There's some of the graduates out of the program that are, moving on in life and, want to be in the automotive industry and racing industry and stuff like that. And, we're obviously willing to help them out as well. Like we talked a little bit before the start of the podcast, got the sim in the background. And, I told him, before, it's always open. Come on over, bring the kids over, bring himself over. Anybody that wants to play with it, come on over and, jump on the sim, run some laps, see what it's all about type thing, and see if it's something they want to do with their livelihood. We're trying to get the word out there of the youth ranch type thing. Like I said, we started off with on the car doing a license plate, which Florida Sheriff Youth Ranch had a license plate here in the state of Florida for a while. Unfortunately, the numbers dropped off a little bit. The license plate went away, but there's still a lot of ways out there to support the youth ranch. And one of them is getting involved. And that's, me and Wayne have talked about it. Me and Stuart have talked about it. Me and the team have talked about it. When Quinn came on, I had a meeting with Quinn and the family, gave them patches, talked to them about what Wayne's about and the youth ranch is about. And, like I say, can't wait for everybody to get together and meet and have some great conversations going into 2026.
I think Mike's being really modest. Mike and I are brothers, and we're brothers from another mother, but we love each other and we support each other. And when I met Mike back in the day when that building was broken into, I had no idea who I was going to contact, and contacted a friend of mine, a business associate, and they're like, hey, you got to talk to this guy, Mike. This is what he does. So I called Mike up, and, he comes out 3:00 in the morning. By 8:30 a.m., the doors are open and like nothing happened in that building. And that guy that broke in basically destroyed the building. He sprayed a couple fire extinguishers all over the place. It looked like Christmas in there. It was a mess. And we started this relationship on an international level because Shriners Hospital is international. And, I was in charge of the building program and 22 facilities, 23 if you counted headquarters, 191 facilities if you include the fraternal side of things. And, we wanted to, put a program together in case there was some kind of disaster that affected any one of our facilities. And who would have known that Hurricane Ike, hit Galveston, and our Galveston Burn Hospital was flooded with 24 inches of water throughout the building. And in my eyes, it was a total destruction. And we called, Mike and Service Master, and Mike gets the whole team together, not just his franchise, but all over the country. And they go in there and they restore that hospital. And to this day, that hospital is still functioning because of Mike. And there's things that Mike has done that he can't talk about. And I won't talk about Mike for his NDA, but it all involved around 9/11 and Washington, D.C. and the aftermath of the attack on our country. And Mike was involved right in the middle of that. And so our relationship has just blossomed. And when I left the Shriners organization, I went on to another kids organization in Tampa and spent a couple years there. They needed an infusion of cash and pay off their debt. And I was available and doing some consulting at the time. And I went with them. And Mike followed me to that organization. And then I left for the youth ranches. Been here again, like I said, almost 13 years. Mike followed me there. And as we were developing this concept of Race to Give and how can we, engage the racing community, Mike, I couldn't be at all the tracks. I couldn't be, places that Mike was going to be at. And Mike became our champion for the children, and he was our representative. So when Mike spoke about the youth ranches, he was speaking for the youth ranches. He was speaking for 67 sheriffs that are our founding group. And I was very grateful for that because he was able to make, even more deeper contacts like City Garage Motorsports. But my love for racing all stems back to being at Shriners Hospitals. And when David Reagan was driving for the AAA and Roush Fenway, we got to engage David and his family, Beverly and Ken and Adam, his brother. And David, and really got to give credit to Michael Congdon, who was David's manager at the time. He got us into some things that, we didn't have to pay for, we didn't have to invest in. They did it out of the goodness of their heart, just like Mike does. And that is, in my eyes, real charity, is when you do things and you give the people that can't give back and you don't ask for anything in return ever. That's charity, right? And so David was doing it, and we did some funny things with David before we started jump started the podcast. We were talking about doing some races with some drivers, and we did a race up there in the North Georgia or South Georgia area, North Florida area, where David equipped a little truck with 2 seats in it. And he was giving races around his short track, for $100 a pop and whatnot. So, of course, I take the first spin with him. And I could barely get into the race suit that they put me in because, I'm 6'2" and 230 pounds. And David was 130 pounds wet. But he got me in there and he buckled me in and we took off. And we were like, I can't tell you how close we were to the wall. And he's like, what do you think about that wall over there? And I said, I thought rubbing was racing. He's not rubbing, so you're not racing. But we did that and raised a little bit of money for the cause. And then we went to Charlotte, got to tour an amazing, Roush Fenway facility. I never had any idea, the magnitude of that operation. And I was in the AAA and at the time Crown Royal garage, and I walked in there, and I might be exaggerating a little bit, but there wasn't 1 or 2 or 3 AAA and Crown Royal cars. There were like 40. And I remember asking David, because they were stacked 3 or 4 high. And I said, well, what's the significance of that car up there on the top? He goes, that's the one I won Daytona in. That one will stay there until I race Daytona again. And because it was set up. And so then we went up to their shaker room. I didn't know what a shaker room was. I thought, I'm a fat kid that loves cake. I thought shaker was, chocolate. We're up in this stark white room with a little glass and some dudes behind it on a computer. And these 4 pads in the middle of the room that they set the car on, and they simulate the tracks and they tweak the suspension and things like that. And I think if I remember correctly, it was a $5 million machine. And I'm like, how can anybody really compete with these guys? Because they have the best equipment, the best machinery, the best technicians. And, it was just amazing. But while I was with him, we decided to take a tour where it all began. And we went to his father, Ken, was in the Bandolero business. And David, by the way, is in the Legends. He's got a little Legends car operation. And so we went over to tour the old shop and and we're at Ken's house, and inside Ken's garage is this beautiful canary yellow Corvette. And David indicated that he had bought that car back. It was his dad who sold that car to fund his racing career. And then when David made it, David bought the car back for him. And so we had a great start with David, and we went out to Charlotte. We did a go-kart race. And if David was listening right now, he knows he's a cheater, because David was going to race go-karts, and he had a Shriners Hospital go-kart, and I happened to hop in and at this time he was driving for UPS, and I hopped in the UPS car, and it was the 88 car though. It wasn't the 6. And it was Jared's car, Jared's number. And David was lapping us like we were standing still, and he's laughing. And I learned from his manager that he souped up his go-kart so he could beat us all. Well, Bobby, you said you haven't raced. I can honestly tell you, I put a NASCAR driver who won Daytona into the wall. Mike can't even say that. And I have pictures to prove it, because he was sneaking up on us. But we did a lot of fun things. As a result of the relationship, David joined the fraternity, which I've been a 30-year member. David's still an active member today, even though he's, retired, semi-retired. But after we left there, David was supporting kids charity with me, which was the Tampa charity. And then, he retired when I kind of moved on to the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches, or he'd be right there with us. So I got to give credit and props to Mike Congdon, who, really opened my eyes to this race community and the generosity that comes out of the race community. We were fortunate to have, some subsidiary relationships with Derek Cope, of all people. He won Daytona. Maybe not fair and square, but he won. And Derek put the star on his car for a couple of Florida races, and that led us into another relationship with Johnny Davis Motorsports. Johnny I love that man. He's a friend of mine. He's, he introduced me to Jeffrey Earnhardt, who was driving the 4 car, and Ross Chastain, who was also driving the 4 car, and Landon Castle, and a bunch of different guys that were racing for him. And, he really embraced us by putting our star on his car free of charge. And I'd call him up and I'd say, hey, Johnny, if you don't have any, he was running 4 cars at one time. I said, if you don't have any paint on one of these cars, would you put the Youth Ranch star on it? Man, he put the star right on the front. He put it on the side. He put it on the back. Never asked for a thing, and we got a lot of engagement with him, at the track and so forth. So, Johnny, and that's kind of where Mike came in. Mike would go to the tracks where Johnny was. He would represent us, with Johnny when I couldn't be there. And then when Johnny, kind of semi-retired, he keeps saying he's going to come back, but when he's semi-retired, it just blossomed in the natural person that, or team that came on, was City Garage Motorsports. But I can't rule out Becca. Becca has been a supporter of ours for the family too for the last 10 years plus. Becca was running the trucks, she would have the kids come out and participate at the track, and she would, fly our star on her car again, and had a couple different trucks, and then had a late model car. And Becca hasn't given up on us as a charity, and we're committed to her as a driver wherever she goes. We're going to be right there with her, I'm sure. But it's evolved into now, there's probably maybe 8 to 10 different teams, whether they're the sprint cars, the legend cars, all kinds of different teams that, just want to give back and want to, share our story, share our mission. So I'll let Mike chime in on anything that I said that you want to echo or elaborate on, Mike.
No, it's been a great relationship, throughout the years, and it's helped, me personally, as well as business wise type thing. I've got my business partner from the relationship that Wayne had with Johnny type thing. My current business partner, when it was, JD Motorsports with Gary Keller is now my business partner in my day-to-day business outside of racing. And like I said, we've taken it from there. And a few years ago, we teamed up with, Mike Harmon, and went out racing with Mike Harmon in Xfinity for a year type thing. And then we got out of that, or I got out of that, and Gary got out. And then that's when I met up, shortly after that, met up with Stewart, and just kept the relationships open, kept the friendships open. And there's so many friends and people that I've gained as friends throughout the years. Like Wayne said, Mike Congdon, I didn't know who he was prior to, getting into the Race to Give and stuff like that, and meeting up with Mike Congdon and Mike Harmon and Jeremy Connors, and just the names go on. And that's how I met Ryan Bell. That's how I met the crew chief that we now have in City Garage Motorsports. That's going to help take us to a championship this year. Is through the connections that we've had, ultimately through the connections we had through the youth ranch, and that's why we continue to carry them on the cars, and we'll always continue to carry them on any of our cars. Is because of the fact of the relationship that we've had throughout the years of the support going back and forth to each other. And it's not going to stop.
Well, and I want to say that, I've been doing this a long time, and I come across a lot of different people that have charitable intentions. Stewart really impressed me with not only his outlook on business, his drive for his team, but also his faith. And, we are a faith-based organization. Our founding principles at the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch is work, study, pray, and play. On any given night right now, we can have 132 kids, youth, with their heads on our pillows and we have 6 locations. We have 3 residential and 3 summer camps. The thing that we're struggling right now is with acquiring cottage parents. Cottage parents right now live with 10 kids that aren't their own, and they work 14 days on, 7 days off, soon to change to another model. And they raise these kids as if they were their own. So whenever I start speaking about the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches, and we're a private organization, 97% of our funding is private, 97%. That means every year the barometer resets, and my team and the agency has to raise the money to fund the six campuses and the 6 programs. And so, it's important for us to have this program that, it was founded to keep wayward boys out of jail and prison. That was the original thing. And then it expanded to, okay, boys need help, but so do girls. And then residential program expanded into, okay, we need something like a summer camp. And we have 3 locations now. And I always say summer camp's not all bows and arrows and canoe trips. It's self-esteem, self-confidence, socialization skills, everything that we feel proven outcomes that these kids need to be successful in life. Our number one most notable rancher is Titus O'Neil, WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. He came to live with us after attending summer camp. Somebody suggested that he go to summer camp, and then while he was there, somebody suggested, hey, you need to go live at the Boys Ranch. So when he came to live with us at the Boys Ranch, and I've heard this story from people that were there at the time, they said he was a wrecking ball. He went through 8 cottages constantly fighting. Well, what was going on in his life and his trauma is his mom was raped at 11, and he was the product of that rape. And he tells this story on many, many podcasts. You just need to search him out. Thaddeus Bullard, a.k.a. WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. And he tells about how coming to the youth ranches saved his life. But when he got here, he was a fighter. He wanted, because that's how he survived, and he would fight with everybody. And there was a gentleman up there, Patrick Minot. He was the program director, and as Thaddeus has shared this story with me, and I've read it in his book, No Such Thing as Bad Kid. Thaddeus said that he was getting ready in his mind to be tossed out of the program because he was fighting and being defiant. And he's called into the program director's office, and his head's down, and he's, Thaddeus, do you know why you're here? You're going to throw me out. And, I always surmise that, he was basically kicked out of everything that he ever was associated with. And so he's ready to be kicked out of the youth ranches. And Mr. Minot said to him, Thaddeus, I believe in you and I love you. And Thaddeus told me over lunch one day, he goes, that was the first time that a man has ever told me he loved me, and it changed my life. It was like a light switch. So he went on to serve, he went on to graduate our program successfully after 5 years. He went on to play for Coach Spurrier at the University of Florida, Florida Gators, as a star athlete. And he had a brief career in the NFL, arena football, where he hurt himself. And then one of his friends was Batista, the wrestler Batista, Guardian of the Galaxy star. And as it goes, Batista got him involved in wrestling. And I remember asking Thaddeus over lunch one day, I said, why wrestling? You could do anything. He's like, it's not my passion, it's my platform. I'm going to change the world. And that guy has done just that. He's world known. He's authored 2 books. He's on a TV show right now, or it might have ended, but just recently. And I remember during, seeing that it's the holiday season, he asked me to bring the kids to Raymond James Stadium where the Buccaneers play, because he was hosting his annual Joy of Giving event. And there's 20,000 kids there to get a holiday gift made possible through him, through his sponsors, through his supporters. He has his own foundation, the Bullard Family Foundation. And I took that day only 86 of our kids. And he's like, Mr. Wayne, get all the kids up on stage. And there's thousands of people out there listening to music and listening to him on the stage. And I'm like, you want all these kids on stage? He's like, get them all up on the stage. And so all the kids are up there, 86 of them, and he gets in the middle of them. And he says to the audience, I want to introduce you to my family. I grew up at the Florida Sheriff's Boys Ranch location. And he knelt down on one knee and he starts crying. And, that guy is a testimonial to our program but more than anything, a testimonial to what a good human, a good father, a good athlete, a good man, a good citizen. I mean, he has really, really thrived, and we're so proud of him. But I had this kid once that wanted to, his mom called me and said, "Hey, do you think you could help my son?" I said, "Well, tell me about it. What's going on?" Well, his grades are slipping. He's starting to hang out with the wrong people in school. He's starting to bring the wrong things to school. They're threatening, suspension. He's got a file, this high on a desk. And I said, well, in this situation, it's a voluntary program. He's got to, you have to agree to place him with us. He has to agree to come. We have to agree to accept him. And we're going to only do that if we feel we can help him. His name was Kevin, by the way. And so she goes, he won't come. He's just like everybody. Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches, they think it's a boot camp. It's not. It's the furthest thing from a boot camp. It's a community of people, and that want to provide a safe haven for these children. And I said, well, what is Kevin like? Oh, he loves wrestling. I'm like, really? I said, I'm going to send you a video. So I went out to our YouTube page. I would encourage you guys to go see it. There's a video that Titus O'Neil did, Thaddeus. I said, show him this video. So he shows the video. And if you can pull that up, Brandon, it's there's two of them out there, but one's labeled Our Story. It's the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches YouTube page, Our Story. But it starts out with him. But there's also another shorter clip of him out there. But I called up Thaddeus and I said, hey, I got this kid that I think would be a good candidate. Would you talk to him? He loves wrestling. And through that conversation, convinced Kevin to come to our program. Kevin was a DF student. And when he got into our program, within a matter of, reasonable time, he turned out to be an AB student. And, that was the power of, what an alumni was able to do for another kid in need. But I don't know if you found that, Brandon, or not.
Yes, I did.
Can you play that for us?
I'm actually going to send it to Bobby here. It's looks like it's 4 minutes long, so it's not.
Yeah,
It's
not
not
the whole
anything
thing.
crazy.
But just take a look at it and you'll see him. He's in the opening part of that. So I said, when I go out and I do my elevator pitch about the youth ranches, I always started out, the biggest misconception is our name, the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches. So many people feel like we are an organization that is, punitive, where we are preventative. And, we honor our founders, the Florida Sheriffs, in the name, Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches, but we are a separate and distinct organization. We are privately funded, privately managed. And my board of directors, there's 15, of which 7 are sitting sheriffs. And, they continue to guide the mission of the youth ranch in the ways that they have. That's been boys, girls, summer camps, mobile camps, and then scholarship campus, and now family education. So parenting classes, which is something new that I can talk about later. But I said, when I walk into a room, it's like, I want to dispel this perception that, we're bad, the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches kids are bad kids. They're not bad kids. They come from bad situations. I said, will it surprise you if I told you that the youngest in our program's 4 years old? And I see these eyes open up. And I said, they're removed from their home for their safety because of very bad things that are being done to them. You read about it all the time you see it, you read about it in the news, on social. These are bad things that are happening to some of our kids. And so that's one segment of the population. And then we have the private placement segment of the population. So we serve as a safe haven. We serve as a place where the Department of Children and Families of Florida can place kids when they remove them from their homes and they need, somewhere to put them versus an office or somebody's backseat of a car, which you hear about all the time. But once they're there, after their safety and security, education's priority one. And we have our own school on campus, and we have for the last 5 years 100% high school graduation rate. And for the privately placed kids, there's 3 paths out of the ranches. They're either going to go into the workforce, they're going to go to higher education, or they're going to go into the military. And we had youth in all of those. What's interesting is being around for as long as we have. I have met some of the first boys ever admitted to the program. They're in their 80s now. And, I met one not too long ago. Him and 2 brothers were admitted to the program. And they, as the story was told, they wanted a swimming pool up there at the Boys Ranch location. So the president said, "You want a swimming pool? Dig it." So they went out and dug their own swimming pool. And to this day, we got a pool up there. It's not the one they dug, but it's probably in the same spot. But I asked them, I took them to a luncheon with me, and I said, out at the Villages, Mike, where these people could relate to a guy their age. And I said to him, I said, did you actually dig the pool? And he goes, "Yes, me and my brothers dug the pool." And, but where else can you go in any charitable endeavor and be able to interact with the people that the organization helped 68 years ago? It's just powerful. And so a lot of the times I'll ask those folks to come speak at different groups that I go speak to, because it just makes more of an impact than just hearing from me. But and so right now, today, our youngest in program, I want to say, is 7. And one of our niches is keeping sibling groups together. So the largest sibling group in my 13 years here has been 7. And, the literature suggests that if siblings are removed from their home and they are parted out to various foster situations, foster homes, usually they're separated. And 50% of those kids will never be reunited with their siblings. So we saw a big need, years ago, that we wanted to keep siblings together under one roof, and we've been able to accomplish that. So up at the Boys Ranch, which there's girls and boys at every campus, but up at the Boys Ranch, there is a sibling cottage. There's soon to be a third boys cottage, and then a girls cottage. We have the ability to have 8 cottages up there right now, if we get those cottage parents that I said we're struggling with. And then at the Safety Harbor campus, it's siblings, boys and girls, in 3 different cottages. Mike is most familiar with that because he's done a lot of work there for us, whether it's mold remediation, whether it's just actually we had a donor group donate some outdoor furniture. And I called up Mike and I said, "Hey, are you guys working this week?" Mike says, "It's hit and miss, got some jobs pending." I said, "Well, what are the guys doing?" "Oh, I got them out here mowing my yard. I got them out here cleaning the shop." I said, "Why don't you send them over to put some furniture together?" So Mike sends them over to put some furniture together. And they did a great job. And that's the kind of giving that Mike does. The most valuable gift anybody can give is a gift of their time. And checks, cash, that's all good. But when somebody gives time, and the kind of time that Mike has given us, that's invaluable. That's what takes us to the next level as an organization. But that campus has a capacity for 30. And then just recently, last 5 years now, we decided, a lot of people have heard of Grady Judd, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd, and he really believes in higher education for his deputies. And my vice president approached him about investing in what we wanted to turn our girls' campus into a scholarship house. And now we have up to 22 students on that campus. Maximum capacity is 22 students. So when they graduate our program, our residential program, and they go to higher education, they can earn a donor-funded college scholarship from our donors. That's restricted for only higher education, and they have to apply for it. There's a panel of, I believe there's 3 on the panel that decides if they're going to be granted this scholarship. But in order for them to receive it, they have to live on our scholarship campus for 2 years to ensure that they're successful. And so right now we have kids, after 2 years, they can move off. So I just helped a couple of the students move off of campus and into their own apartments. One got his welding certificates, and now he's getting his underwater welding certificates. He wants to work on oil wells. And then another one, he got his automotive, his diesel. Now he's getting his marine. And one of those 2 guys, Justin specifically, we sent him over to City Garage Motorsports to work on the cars. We had another rancher alumni, Jeffrey, that worked for a local Chrysler dealer. He went over there and helped them out. Mike had a call out for help, get some things done and ready. And he called me up and said, "Hey, any of the ranchers want to come over?" And Mike we sent him over there, and Mike put him to work. But it's been a tremendous opportunity for them, but also it's fun to kind of sit back and watch these kids like grow into themselves and be, go from, young men to boys to men, so to speak. And I really enjoy my time with the older kids, just because, like, Mike and I are working on something right now together where one of them wants to start a mobile mechanic operation, sea to land, because he wants to do diesel, marine, and he wants to do auto. And Mike's like, "Hey, I got a truck that, he might be able to take over. I'm just going to, dispose of it." And so we're talking to him about, how we set that up, doing a business plan for him and seeing if we can make that work out. But yeah, I think I've taken up a lot of the time. So Mike, you want to chime in?
No, it's, like I say, it's all good stuff. It's all stuff, that we continue to, support on and support the community. It just showing out there on the podcast that, what racing can do for the community. And it's not just a matter of just City Garage Motorsports. It's like Wayne said, there's sprint car teams involved. There's F1 type cars involved. There's legends, there's banderos, or all different levels of racing is involved in with the youth ranches running the star on the car. And they come out to a lot of our events and stuff like that. They'll come out there and meet with us and get involved with us. Matter of fact, our first car, Sadie, was named after one of the racers that we met out at the track and stuff like that, a young female, and we named the car after her type thing. So there's all kinds of levels to get involved in, with racing and stuff like that. And a lot of people look at it and sit there and say, I can't get involved with NASCAR. NASCAR costs too much money. I can't get involved with it. I want to help you guys out, but how do I get involved in it? And we've came up with some pretty cool ideas on how to do that. I'm gonna go into that, Bobby, if that's okay with you, a little bit onto the insider that we talked about. There's a couple different levels that we can go into, and it's basically an insider program so people can get involved from the outside in with us. And there's different levels. There's anywhere from $100 to $1,000 level. Like he's got on the screen right here, level 1. You get CDM Digital Wall of Fame. You get a monthly insider emails, early access to team news and car unveils or reveals, digital wallpapers. That's at $100. Sign on for $100, you get that activity. Level 2, you get all of that, plus you get signed autographed hero cards from both our drivers, exclusive button, crew t-shirts, quarterly newsletter, a members only meet and greet with the drivers. That's at $250. It's not out of the realm. Bring the family out, meet the drivers, talk to the drivers, get involved with the team and stuff. Level 3, both of the benefits of 1 and 2. You get the name on the rear deck of the number 5 car, which I drove last year. It's an awesome ride. It's got, we're rebuilding it. It's going to be even better coming out this year. Quinn will be driving that ride this year. Get a CGM button, 85 and 5 with Becca and Quinn's cars. Signed hero card set from Becca and Quinn. They will sign the card and individualize it directly to you. Get a pit crew hat. That's a $500 level. The next level is our highest level that we have, which is all 3 of those combined. You get a limited edition metal pin from CGM. You get an exclusive meet and greet at the races and personalized shout out for one of our drivers on social media. And that level is $1,000. And it really helps us give you guys a level. We've had a lot of people out there say, how do I help you? I can't afford. People think that to be associated with a NASCAR team, that it costs hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it does cost us as a team to run like that. But we want to give the normal individual out there that wants to be involved in some way with racing and be associated with their race team an opportunity to do so. So we came up with this insider fan page, and this is our way that we can sit there and work out something with you fans to give you that interaction with the professional NASCAR team. We're building these cars. We went through the cars that we had last year. We had some great cars. Our worst finish last year was 14th. Becca had some great success. We brought Quinn on now with us, Quinn Davis. She's been racing since she was 5. We're the first team in NASCAR history to have all-female drivers. We just announced that Logan Mizuraka is coming on with us for Daytona. Going to be running the track at Daytona with us, another female driver. We've talked to other female drivers, around the, industry type thing that want to race for us. And we possibly coming up with some opportunity. We're looking at how can we advance that, how can we get that opportunity out there to people that want the opportunity, but people that's also going to work with and fit well with our family and our team. So we're looking at all avenues. We're doing testing at Daytona in January 9th and 10th. I'll be testing. Becca will be testing. We just found out the other day that even though Quinn is not 18 and cannot run the race, but she will be 17 by testing, and she will be able to test. So Quinn will be testing. We've got a few other people that, will be out testing with us as well. I think we have 1, maybe 2 more spots at testing for Daytona. If any drivers are out there that are qualified, that want to get out there and get their Daytona license, reach out to us. Reach out to Stuart. It's Stewart at citygaragemotorsports.com. He'd be more than happy to look over your resume. But I'll warn you now, we're picky. We're not just going to take somebody out there that says, hey, I've ran some laps here, and this is my resume. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Daytona is a big track, and it's a very fast track, and we've got very, very good cars. Ryan Bell has gone through these cars and spent weeks upon weeks upon weeks of rebuilding these cars and making sure that they're ready for a speedway. And people that don't know or haven't heard of Ryan Bell, he's been involved with Rev Racing. He's been involved with Harman Motorsports. He's been involved with cup teams, truck teams. He's been in the industry for 20 plus years, and he knows how to set up a ride. The team he was with, Rev Racing, don't quote me on the specs, but I'm pretty sure out of the last 2 years, they've been in the championship running for 2 of those years out of the last 3. He's our crew chief. Between me, him, and the team, we're going to make sure these cars are right. We're going through these cars. Stewart's focusing on the admin side, the business side, the sponsorship side, and Ryan will tell you everything. These cars are my passion. This is what I'm doing to help make sure that things are ready. And we love supporting charities like Wayne's. We have another charity that we support out there, which is Gray Bull. We try to give back to the community as much as we can. We try to leverage as much communication and interaction with the public as we can, because the more publicity that we get out there for ourselves, the more publicity we're getting out there for them, for the charities. So we welcome all of that interaction, and that's with this insider and stuff, it's an opportunity for people to be involved with the professional race team, and we're trying to give people that opportunity. And there's still sponsorship opportunity. The number 5 car that Quinn's going to be driving, running for the East Championship, it's wide open. We do not have a title sponsor for that car at this very moment. We have some smaller sponsors coming on that'll be some associate sponsors, but to come in as a title sponsor, there is not one that has stepped up and said, I want to be on that car. There's a lot of people that want to be involved, but we don't have a signed name on a contract at this point in time. We're talking with a lot of people. Hopefully we'll get somebody soon on that. But we're always looking. The 85 car is a very, it's funded. That car is taken care of, for the season. It's got a lot of good funding on it with Orlando Health, Access IT, L5, Orlando Health Watson Clinic, Lakeland Highlands Hospital, which that hospital is awesome. That'll be opening in about 200 days, if I remember correctly, over at Lakeland. Very, very nice hospital. We did a walkthrough with them. It's amazing walking through that hospital. And actually, Wayne brought up earlier Shriners Hospital out there in Galveston, and it brought back memories type thing of going through the hospital. Stewart was walking through the hospital. He's like, hey, bet you'd have fun rebuilding one of these. And I'm like, I have. You can ask Wayne. I was gonna say we went through operating rooms, MRI rooms, all the skin banks, everything there for the hospital, and taking care of it, getting it cleaned up, and the parenting housing, all of it. So it brought back a lot of memories on that aspect of it and stuff like that. There's video out there. Anybody can go out there and look on YouTube, and like I say, Bobby can post out there as well as a link on YouTube that there's a big video between ServiceMaster and Shriners that shows what was done at that hospital and what was done to give back to the community and stuff like that. It was 4.5, almost 5 weeks of my life type thing, sleeping in the parking lot on Galveston Island with very limited resources. We had to bring our own in. But we made it happen. And it's the same thing here in racing. It's like if something happens to a car, we have to turn around immediately and get it ready for the next race. And that's when the youth ranch kids came out and helped us, is when we were getting ready for Talladega. We destroyed a car at Daytona, and that was our speedway car. That was our one and only speedway car at that point in time. And we've gone from, having that one speedway car and one short track car to now having 6 cars, 5 motors, and all of them being top-notch equipment. When me and Stewart, put our heart into it, we're going after championships. We're not here to sit there and just kind of play around and make some laps around the track. We want to go after a championship in 2026, and that's what our intentions are for, the East, for Becca and Quinn, is to go after that championship in the East. And who knows where it's going to go after that. It could go, we could go truck racing, we can go Xfinity racing, we could step up, we could stay where we're at. Right now, we're comfortable where we're at because we want to master where we're at now before we take that next jump into that next level. We want to, master where we're at. And, maybe it's we go for the main series next year or the year after next. Next year is obviously going to be the East, but maybe in 2027, we go after the main and then we move up. There's a lot of things in the work. We're always looking for cars. We're always looking for drivers. We're trying to put a rental program together for drivers for this year. That if people out there want to, rent a vehicle to run some tracks, reach out to us. Like I say, Stewart at City Garage Motorsports, send them your resume and stuff like that. We're always looking for people, just like I said with the Insider, and Bobby can attest to this. We're always looking to associate CGM with good people, just like we have with Wayne. Area 51 Motorsports has been supporting us, putting us on the podcast, trying to help us get our names out there, plan on helping us get our names out there. There's going to be some more announcements coming out tomorrow, some collaborations that's going to be going on between us and Area 51 Motorsports. There's a lot of good stuff happening in 2026 at City Garage Motorsports, and we want to spread that wealth and try to spread it with everybody out there that's been helping us and help them the best that we can. And there's some announcements coming out here soon. Like I say, tomorrow there's going to be an announcement, some collaboration that's going to be going on going into the 2026 season. So I know, Bobby, go ahead.
Well, don't forget that if you do the entry or do the levels 1 through 4, any of them, that you get entered into a Talladega VIP giveaway.
Yep,
and that
absolutely
ends on 12/31 of 25.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yep.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
So,
like I said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, we're just trying to make opportunities for everybody that's involved to help each other, scratch each other's back, and just have that community feeling, family feeling out there with everybody.
So, since Mike brought it up, we're gonna share something with you guys, and then I'll let Mike kind of go from there with it. So, here we go.
Yep. So as you guys see in that video there, Area 51 Racing Podcast is going to be collaborating with CGM in the 2026 season of On Racing, on social media. There's gonna be, you guys come out to the track and see us at the track. You never know. You may see Bobby's face out there in a fire suit, throwing some tires around, handing a pit gun across. It's hard to say where we're going to be at, when we're at, but there's a lot of opportunities for people to be involved, and Bobby has stepped up to be one of those people that want to be involved with CGM, and we're very welcome to have him involved in CGM and look forward to where this is going to be going into the next year.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, and definitely looking forward to the 2026 season. Brandon, I know you'll be at the track. Who knows? Maybe you and I can get out there and do it together.
Yeah, I will be there. I'll be full time in NASCAR again this year. Well, again, it's been a couple years since I've been full time out there, but we'll cover that in a future episode. But that got pretty much settled today. So yeah, I'll be out there. Hopefully, can kind of collaborate a little bit with CGM. I'd love to, come bring some professional pit stops and bring some of my guys over there, and just to be a part of it, because man, that's a lot to unpack, you guys. I do have to ask. So I was when did you say you left Shriners or separated from Shriners?
I left there in 2010.
Okay.
Then I spent a couple of years with another charity in Tampa.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering because you looked familiar, but So I couldn't put my finger on it, but you brought up David. I actually was at uh, I was at the NASCAR Hall of Fame in Charlotte when one of the Shriners throwback schemes was released. He was throwing back to one of David Pearson's cars, I believe, and they had both I think it was a '67, I believe it was. I can't remember if it was the Mercury or what it was, but they had that car and the newer car, the throwback there, and so of course Shriners Hospital showed up in force when they released that. So that was a pretty cool unveiling to be part of. But I don't know if you were at that or not, but
No, was
uh,
not there.
because that was 2017, I guess.
Yeah.
Been about 8 years now, but man, that's a lot. I mean, the more I listen and hear about CGM and its partners, the more there is to like about it. I've got a 2-year-old, so I don't know how I couldn't be a part of the youth ranches just because I have that real sensitive soft spot towards the little ones. So to know there's that many out there that are hurting and you guys are helping them, that's pretty serious, and it's an extremely noble thing. So man, good on you guys, because I couldn't deal with just the thought of having that many unfortunate kids, but y'all are taking care of them, and that's the important thing. So that's really amazing.
All I'll tell you from one dad to another is those kids are thriving in our program.
Yeah, you love to hear it. Man, I
They,
love that.
they,
That's awesome.
they come from some of the worst situations, but they are thriving and they are making something out of themselves, and they're moving on and they're becoming, parents themselves. And it's, so I appreciate your comments
Yeah,
and
of course.
thank you for that. Thank you.
So, Mike, I wanna throw this out here real quick. I want to thank you and Ryan and Stuart and everybody at CGM for the opportunity, and I can't wait for 2026. Is it January 1st yet? Um,
Oh, believe me, I think we've been getting ready for January 9th and 10th for the last 2 months type thing. So everybody keeps saying it's off season, it's off season, it's off season, and I don't know
I
when
had
the
no off
racing off
season.
season starts
Yeah.
because I've not seen it yet.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that from last year we had an off season, and you can ask Brandon. We had a
Yep.
nice little 2 month, 2.5 month off season, and this year I don't think I've even got an off season. Like, we
No.
came back from Charlotte, we've done this, we've done that. Now we're on episode 105. I'm collaborating with you guys. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I have not stopped going.
That's the same with us. It's like literally we got back Friday morning from Indianapolis. Stuart came up to me last week, and it was literally Monday, Tuesday of last week, and said, "Hey, PRI's going on type thing. Let's get signed up for it. Let's get, you want to go up there?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to turn down going to PRI type thing. There's a lot of opportunity and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, what the heck? Let's go. So literally, we jumped in the van, ran up there. We had to drop off some parts, so we drove up, dropped off some parts in Tennessee, and continued on up to Indianapolis. And took care of. We made some awesome contacts up there Thursday and Friday while we were at PRI. Met some very, very, there's people that Ryan's known for years type thing, but it was new introductions to us. And we got to meet a lot of really great people, a lot of really great drivers. Went out for, um, went out after PRI, ended at 5. I think we was out at 7, 8 o'clock, and met some more great drivers, met some more great people type thing afterwards at a party and the after party. And it just, the contacts that are out there in the racing field and the personnel that's out there type thing, when you get to know them on a personal level, it's a whole different atmosphere type thing. The people that are out there that really want to help and really want to be a part of racing and really want to help the community, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people that don't even admit it, type thing, on what they're doing or how they want to do it. And we met a lot of those great people there at PRI, and we hope to have some great relationships going forward with a lot of them. Hopefully a few of them turn into sponsors. We talked to a lot of people there about some sponsorships and stuff like that, because like I said, the 5 car is open. We do not have a title sponsor on that car. I think we've lined up a couple of associate sponsors, but like I said, that car is wide open. Like I say, we're willing to talk to anybody within reason, type thing, to get that car filled and get some sponsorship on that car. We just want to make sure it fits in the team and fits their agenda for coming on with us. But yeah, no, we literally left PRI at 3:30 on Friday and got back at 4:30 in the morning on Saturday, type thing. Dressed it up for the weekend a little bit and right back at it Sunday. So,
Yep. Know how that is.
I think you guys need to start recording or having a GoPro in that vehicle or the hauler to be able to get content, because I'm sure that the content is absolutely great.
I don't know how much of that content can be repeated at 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So if we could do some voiceovers on it, or something along that aspect, we might be able to go there. But no, it was funny because we're up there, and I didn't pay. We left on such a whim of a notice. I never even paid attention to the weather. Obviously, we knew it was going to be cold, but we ran into snowstorms. We ran into ice storm in the parking lot. I literally watched the lady in the hotel parking lot hit the curb 4 times because she didn't know how to drive her car, type thing. It was just Stuart was like, it's like, I hope the roads are better. I'm like, the main roads would be much better than this hotel parking lot, I promise you, type thing. We got about 1 inch of snow that day, and I think they got 3 inches on Saturday. And seeing some of the videos come out of PRI, it was just hilarious, because I guess one of their traditions is driving a lot of the cars out of PRI. So they're driving out of the back entrance of PRI with these top fuel race cars, 2,000 horsepower, mud buggies, just anything and everything sports related, high horsepower in the snow all over them. Couple $100,000 modified C7, C6 race cars and stuff like that, with inches of snow on them as they're trying to pull out and gain traction with slick tires all the way around the vehicle and stuff like that. It was pretty hilarious to watch some of the videos that are out there on Facebook and stuff like that of these cars pulling out. So
I'm just glad you guys made it back, and I'm glad that you guys had a great time. I seen Quinn was there with you guys, and
yep,
and Ryan. So I'm glad everybody made it back safe and whatnot. But I would have took that snow over what the snow we got. We got like 6 inches. You guys got what, like 3?
Yeah. Now there was 3 there on Saturday, and infield Jen was there as well. Logan Mizuraka came up on, she was up there on Saturday. So like I said, we had a lot of the CGM family up there, walking through PRI, making through contacts and stuff like that. And like I said, we made some great contacts. We, made some contacts that, kind of thought we were a smaller team and stuff like that. Gave us some constructive criticism that we took to heart, and we're going to move forward and move past that and make some changes accordingly, type thing. We somewhat see what they're talking about, but as you can see from podcasts like this and people that we have and relate ourselves to, like Wayne, we're very family oriented. So we like to share everything that's going on. And some people think that when you share too much on social media, that it becomes a little bit childish and it becomes a little bit high schoolish. But that's what a family does. If you look at anybody's individual family on Facebook, they're always sharing, they're always talking, and there's always something going on. And that's kind of the way that we've looked at it. And, me and Stuart's talked over this last, few months that, yes, we want to keep it as a very close knit family that we are, but we also got to look at it as a business. And there's, going to be decisions that are going to be business decisions that are made. And that's where, we've talked about the whole renter aspect of it. And, we've talked about and looked at and talked with ARCA and stuff like that, possibly adding a third number and adding a third car that's just a straight rental car type thing that we can, have set up, that somebody calls us and says, hey, I want to go run Texas. Let's go run Texas. Let's go run Sonoma. Let's go run, wherever everybody's running on the track type thing. And, as long as it makes sense, it's got to make sense for us and it's got to make sense for them. But we're willing for those opportunities. We want to show people that we're here to stay. We're not here to just play around and run some laps in the back. We're here to go after it. We want a championship. So
We have the number.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. We've been talking, like I say. So
Gentlemen, thank you for coming on tonight. I greatly appreciate it. Uh, Michael, thank you for everything. Wayne, your story, man. I'm lost for words. I greatly appreciate everything you do, and next time I'm in Florida and I have time, I'll come down and see you guys for sure.
Bobby, I already told you I got a guest house with 4 rooms right on the ranch, 3,200 acres. Go ride some horses. Even go see Elvis Presley's house that he left to us in 1960. You know, I can honestly tell you, Elvis Presley left the building to the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches.
Very
Oh,
cool.
hell.
Like Brandon just left the building.
Yep.
So, Mike, I will obviously talk to you soon.
Yep.
And Wayne, I'll talk to you also. I greatly appreciate everything that you guys do, and looking forward to the 2026 season with you guys.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas. I hope Santa brings you everything you asked for.
Me too.
Merry Christmas.
Good health and prosperity for Happy New
Absolutely.
Year. All right, guys. Have a good evening.
You
Yes,
too.
sir. Y'all too.
Yep, you too.
All right, Brandon. Episode 105.
Yeah, there's another one.
How many more? No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna go long time.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're pretty much in this one. This one for the hook.
Yeah, I'm in it for the long haul. I think Brandon just left the building.
No, got
There we
knocked
go.
out for some reason. There it goes.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. You were there, and then all of a sudden you weren't. But yeah, I think we're in this for the long haul. I see 500 episodes if it all permits.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
pretty cool.
I went ahead and changed shirts. I forgot these are this is a Ford team here.
I seen that.
I was gonna throw in a little bit of foreshadowing, but I don't want to make the episode about me, so I went ahead. I had the Ford shirt sitting right there, so I'll throw it on.
So I want to thank you. This is our last episode of 2025. We've had Jeff Bodine to start out the season. We've hit our 100th episode. We've had Jeremy Clemens. We've had Robert Presley. We've had lots of, absolutely incredible guests. We've had everybody from CGM, Stuart and Mike and Ryan and Quinn and Becca. I mean, man, we kind of topped ourselves this year. We're gonna have some awesome guests next year, though. I have a list, and I'm not telling. I'm not telling a word. I have it down pretty good, but we have some awesome guests for 2026, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the track. I can
Looking forward
for
to
the
it,
first
man.
time ever, I can say it.
Maybe yeah, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Daytona big time. I mean,
I am too.
we talk about not having an off season. I mean, I feel like so I just got back from my last race last weekend or last week, and now solidifying plans for next week right now, and now going right back to work next week, and then a couple weeks from that being Daytona for IMSA. So no off season this year. Maybe next year get a vacation.
Amen. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to Daytona, though. I mean, is it February yet? I mean, I don't want to rush it. My birthday's in January, but I don't want to like blow by that. But
I don't want to rush it either because it's going to be a lot of work. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be a good season. I mean, I had we had some plans that fell through, but they say everything happens for a reason. So one door closes, another door opens. All the cliches and all that. But next year will be good. We'll be strong, and on the NASCAR side, we'll be strong on the IMSA side. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm ready to get out there. At the same time, kind of ready to take a nap for a couple days.
Yeah. So Brandon and I are gonna start working on. We're obviously off season, literally. We're gonna start working on the intro and exit videos for next year.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna knock it out of the park this upcoming year. I thought this year was action packed. I think next year is gonna be more action packed.
Yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to everybody that makes our podcast possible. And like I said, this is our last episode for 2025. Huge shout out to Brandon, Dave, Rob. I greatly appreciate everybody. Next year we're gonna have new co-host. I wish Dave and Rob the best, and hopefully their health and family things go amazing. Rob, I know you're listening. Hope you get better soon, buddy. Brandon, we're here. We're gonna have Chrissy and Scott with us next year.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to that. But I want to thank Spartan Waste, Mark and Mark, Fox Sports Spartanburg, Ryan Delaney. Got to give them guys a shout out. Our first episode, our set, what was it, 40th episode, and then our 100th episode. I can't thank them enough. Harrison's, Action RV, Kylie Glick Racing, Mattman Designs, The Runner's Roost, Alliance Driveway Solutions with Tate and LJ, Armadillo Apparel, which you can see right there. Anamore Designs, Circle B Diecast, Driven Sunglasses, Elite Towing and Recovery, High Speed Auto, Belcher Cheesecake Creations, Flying Farm Concrete Structures, First Pacific Funding, Gale Beard Products, Wings, etc., Dialed In Focus Pouches, Schanzenbach Landscaping, Enigma Tattoo, Overwear Apparel Group, SBJR Designs, Henderson Jet Services, Ava Hansen Racing, everybody at CGM, Becca and Quinn for coming on for next year. Obviously Jeremy Clements Racing. Can't thank them for everything that they've done. Obviously we were on a race car, and then I got to give a shout out to Alex Club and Club Racing. Brandon knows this. I mean, that was how cool was that to be able to be a primary sponsor at Toledo, and then find out that that car is now on NASCAR 25.
Yeah, I was looking at it earlier, actually.
I was like, dude, we're on a video game. Like, that's an accomplishment.
That's pretty cool.
Everybody's like, oh, you're not on a video game. Here, I'll show you. Check this out. We're on a video game. I don't know if there you go. Like, I'm sitting here like, this is freaking awesome. I mean, and the graphics is awesome. So, with that being said, that's episode 105. You got anything, Brandon, before we sign off?
No, I don't think so. We'll I'll have to get back on here before we go to Daytona for IMSA, and maybe we'll update our regular watchers, on everything that's going on to kickstart the season. I'll shed a little bit of light on what I got going on, and
Absolutely.
hopefully we can be more involved with I'd like to personally be more involved with CGM, whether that's helping support them or working or pitting, whatever it is. So I'm always open to working something out with them. We can get them some good we got good mechanics, good pit guys, so we'll I
Even
think
the
that's about
content.
it. Yeah, content too. Yep.
You
I've been doing a lot of that.
as Mike said, there's an announcement that CGM has at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. You guys won't want to miss it. It's pretty awesome.
Yep, I'm gonna be I'll be in Charlotte tomorrow morning, going down to talk to a team. So I'll be waiting on my phone to let me know when that drops.
Yes, sir. I'll be at work, so I'll get the notification and be like, I'll see you at 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I will talk to you guys later, and we will do our last 2025 exit video. This is Bobby and Brandon with Area 51 Racing Podcast, 2025 season, episode 105, signing out. See you guys in 2026.
See you guys next year.
Yeah. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys in January with some new stuff from Brandon.
Merry Christmas, everybody.